Hello, this week we're looking at number 8 in our series on God's mission, my mission. This is mission to the needy, and when we say needy, I don't want to just talk about people who are poor, but people in need in all kinds of different areas, whether it's in physical need, those who don't have the mobility, whether it's mental issues and the need for help in that direction, whether it's people who are discriminated against, people who for whatever reason are seen as outcasts in society, anybody who needs help. And God has a lot of words to say, especially in the Old Testament, about how we need to care for the needy, the poor, the foreigner, and the orphans, the widows, and so on. And here in the study for this time, we're given material in Luke, John, Deuteronomy, and Matthew, and so on. And I think it would be great if you took some time to read through all those kinds of texts and see what God is trying to say to us, because that is really a very significant part of our study for this time. Some quotes as well in terms of what we should be thinking about. Jesus associated with the outcasts. He spoke with them, touched them, ate with them, loved them, said John Ortberg. And then that very first one from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Judgment is the forbidden objectivization of the other person which destroys single-minded love. I'm not forbidden to have my own thoughts about the other person, to realize his shortcomings, but only to the extent that it offers me an occasion for forgiveness and unconditional love, as Jesus proves to me. What a thought that is, thinking about what Jesus does for each and every one of us. Look at the story of the man who was paralyzed and couldn't do anything for himself. He needs healing, but he can't even get to Jesus. His friends, those who really care about him, want to take him to Jesus, but they can't get to him because of the press of the crowds. There are so many people around trying to get to Jesus as well that they just can't get their man, probably on a stretcher or on some kind of mat or something, to Jesus. So what do? They take him up on the roof, take the roof apart and lower him down so he's right there in front of Jesus. What a great example of caring for the needy, an acted demonstration, if you like, of practical help for somebody who could not help himself. Then God tells the Israelites there in Deuteronomy, you too must love the foreigner because you yourselves were once foreigners in Egypt. Don't forget that you were needy too at one time. And I think we can all think of times in our lives where we've been helped because we were needy, whether it's somebody who helped us out practically in terms of taking us somewhere or bringing us food or helping us out financially or whatever it might have been. And we can do the same. These acts of kindness that we can do for other people are so important in demonstrating who we are in terms of being God's true followers. Jesus said that this is how you will know that people will know you are my disciples when you have love one to another, and of course love to those around you, because in that way you do demonstrate the kind of God that you believe in. Remember right at the very end of time when the sheep and the goats are separated there in Jesus' story. It's not a parable, it's a story, an illustration of the end. And the sheep and the goats are separated. They are separated not because of their great theology or anything like that, but because they cared for other people around them. They visited them in prison. They helped them when they were sick. They gave them drink. They gave them food. They gave them clothing and so on. And here's something very practical for us to think about. What am I doing for the poor and for the needy? Myself. What practical difference does my Christianity make in my personal life? I urge you to think about that. And as you discuss this in your class and as you lead out even, help people to think about what they can do practically to help those in need around them.